Welcome back to our program for Men Only. We've been talking about marriage. I mean, Kim, you've been married 40 years. I've been married 30 years. Ken, you've been married 22 years.
Some odd.
He thinks. We're glad his wife's not watching.
No, see, I got married on an even number of my age.
Did
so
you?
it's easy to figure it out.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
just subtract from how old I am, and boom, that's it.
Oh, I see.
I got married when I graduated from high school. That's all I remember.
Yeah. I was 20 when I got married. I'm 50 now, so that's real easy to do the math. All right, now Ken, being married 22 years. Now, I mean, compared to us, you're a youngster.
I'm young.
You're young, but even 22 years today is a long time.
Yeah.
It is. Now, what is it? Some of the things that have helped you. I mean, y'all look fairly happy. I mean,
fairly happy. I guess we need to work on some stuff,
What are some of the secrets to being fairly happy?
It is really the little things. It's amazing. I remember when we first got married, I always tried to do something during the special days, and my wife didn't get too excited when you brought her flowers on Valentine's for some reason.
Right, because that's kind of normal.
I expected them, you don't get nothing for that,
Yeah.
And, in all honesty, I mean, you start doing the little things, and when you start doing things for each other, you build that. That's how that love gets built, and that respect for each other, and you start learning about what makes that person tick, what makes you tick,
Right.
what brings about joy and excitement in your life. Because, what gets me excited, or what makes me excited about life isn't necessarily what makes her excited. You know what I mean? If you want to throw a good football game, I thought it was great after we had been together for a few years. I remember the first time we got to lay on the couch together and watch a football game. Now, to me, that's great. To her, it's like, I did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did it.
So there's some differences between men and women, and no matter who you are. And see, we think that we're going to find somebody that's everything I want to do, they're going to want to do.
Doesn't
Somehow
usually work
that gets painted as a picture. It don't happen.
Now you say that now because biblically in the Bible talks about one. I believe the Bible. You might think, well, you're religious men. Well, it's working pretty good for us. How's it working for you? All right, and I think the Bible gives us an outline of, or at least some principles to function by. And as you were sharing, I'm thinking, scripturally, 1 Peter chapter 3, I think verse 7 says, "Husbands, dwell with your wife in an understanding way."
Understand who she is and how she works.
And men, we are fairly simple.
That's right.
You feed us, you sort of be nice to us, and you go to bed with us. And we're happy. We're good. What else is there in life? Now, women, though, are totally different. They're much more complicated beings.
Yes, they are.
But the responsibility, God put the responsibility on the husbands to understand their wives.
Yeah.
And that takes work. You got to study them. And because they're not like us men.
Right.
We got to study them because they are different. They think different. They process different. And what they like is different. You can't treat... women weren't designed to be roughed up. Guys will go, hey,
stop it.
Girls, women are not like that. I sat down and I thought, all right, if I wanted to bless my wife, that whole thing, if I wanted to start, how would I bless my wife?
Right.
And I sat down with a piece of paper, and it challenged me in terms of how well do I know her?
Exactly.
How well do I know her well enough to know what'll get that, that response that she goes, thank you. That was, and when you get a thank you and thanks. You know the difference. And I think you talked earlier about, differences and the things you liked and disliked. And one of the things I disliked about my wife was she always runs on fumes. in her gasoline, in the car. It's always, and if she
Mine's
gets
just the opposite. If it goes below 3/4, she's like, I gotta get gas.
well,
Okay.
she stops to get gas. She doesn't fill it up. She gets $5 worth, and that,
Gallon and a half.
which bugs me to no end. You get in there, and if you got to take the car, you're in a hurry, and the thing's sitting on empty. And and then my car's got the mileage, miles to empty.
Oh.
And when I get in and it's on 0,
You're in trouble.
but I sat in that thinking, how could I bless my wife? And I thought, one of the things was I complain all the time about her not getting gas, but I thought,
Why don't you fill it up?
why don't once a week, one way I could bless her is go take her car and fill it up.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she's got gas.
She's got gas. She doesn't have to mess with it, and I don't have to be frustrated.
Good.
But but it took some of that thinking.
Well, that's one of the things that I go hunting every fall. I usually go do a bow hunt that's usually somewhere between 8 and 9 days in a row. So I'm gone. So what I'll do is go get cards. I miss you, love you, honey. Then every day I'll put one in. I'll start the day I
bad.
leave,
Oh,
and then every day I'll put one in there, and for the first 3 or 4 or 5 days, and then pretty much every day she's getting a card.
oh man.
It works good.
Ouch.
This guy's rough.
Yeah.
And then the other time when I left, I thought, you know what? One thing she really loves to do is just go shop. But she doesn't like to spend her money, which is good, folks. Believe me, that's good. I've seen the other side of that coin, so this is good. But so I just, in one of the cards, I just put a $100 bill in there and said, go shopping. Just while I'm gone, go shopping. And that blessed her socks off. So just things like that, But that comes from studying her and knowing what she likes to do. Right?
Well, you know what your wife's favorite place to shop is?
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Maurice's.
All right. Well, okay. There's a place here in Whitehall she loves. I forget the name of it. I just go down there. I go get her a gift card.
Yep.
Then
she has to go there.
Yeah.
She loves to go there anyway.
Yeah.
So she's good.
And she'll look at everything, and this stuff is too expensive. This stuff costs too much.
But now
now you've got a gift card. Do you know the colors she likes? Does you know those kind of things? But I made that list. That was a challenge to sit down and go, if I wanted to bless her, like that. That heart begins change, and the real challenge is taking. A lot of times men we think in terms of our intention. Well, I love her. I feel this way for her.
Right.
But our wives need to see action at some point or another.
Oh yeah.
But just the challenge for me to sit down and could I come up with a list more than 2 or 3 things on it that I could sit down and it took some thinking for me, to come up with that list of things that I knew if I did this.
The funny thing, when I first got born again, when I first got born again, and I started, okay, God, you said I need to, husbands love your wife as Christ loved the church. He gave himself up for her, sacrificed himself for her. And my wife and I would have these arguments once in a while, and I was always right, of course. And
all the time, yeah.
And for 3 days after that, we'd go to our rooms, and 3 days after that, we wouldn't talk to each other. It's just the way it was. The walls were up, and that was the way it was. And I decided, okay, I'm submitting to the Spirit of God in me, the life of God in me. I'm submitting everything to you. And so we got into this fight again, and I was right. There was no doubt about it. And I went into my bedroom, and I got down on my knees and said, God, what do you think about this? What's the deal here? And he said, you know what? He said, that's my daughter, and I really don't appreciate you treating her that way. And it was like, oh, that hurt.
Oh.
It wasn't whether you were right or wrong. You don't treat her that way, because I was being kind of nasty, and I had to go and apologize to her. Say I was wrong. I shouldn't have treated you that way. It was not right. And I'm sorry. I apologize to her. You know what? That 3 days, was cut down to about 10 minutes. Right? It was over. Yeah. So.
Well, she's probably. Did you have to pick her up off of the floor?
Yeah,
pretty much.
He said he was sorry.
Jaw dropped.
Now I'm sitting there thinking, some guys watching. Yeah, you guys are just whipped. I won't use the word. But, some guys say you're whipped, and I like what one person said. There's worse things to be whipped by.
On that note.
But the proof of the pudding's in the eating. 22 years.
22 years.
30 years. 40 years. And we're happy.
Yep.
And we're satisfied. And I mean, I can say this. Our wives look happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, they're not beat down. You know, they don't look miserable.
Right.
You know, so, you know, somebody can say, I don't know if I agree with you guys. You know what I mean? And we're men. We hunt, we fish, we ride motorcycles. We're, you know, I mean, we're men. I mean, we shoot guns.
Right.
Huh?
That's right.
And we got guns. Yeah. You know, we're men, but yet being a man, we still love our wives. We love them. We treat them with honor. We're endeavoring to be better husbands.
Right.
And not just sort of be the average American male.
Right.
You know, so I just say this: the proof of the pudding's in the eating. How good's your pudding? Thanks for joining us for Men Only. Tune in again next time. No telling what we'll say.